ongoing Black Lives Matter Los Angeles Jackie Lacy protest. It's at the federal building right next to City Hall in downtown Los Angeles. So I was asking somebody how long this protest has been going on. I thought it was 3 years, but I think it's actually longer. So this is ongoing Black Lives Matter protest. DA Jackie Lacy um, is, they've been confronting her for years. Jackie Lacy is sort of controversial DA, and she's historically hasn't prosecuted any police for killing people. And so that's what this protest is. There are some police here, and then at the Four Corners, this is north, so that's west, and they're all the way around staging for 4 blocks, but today there are more of them, and they're a couple blocks further out. So I don't know exactly what they're anticipating or what's expected. This is always very peaceful. There's usually the same opening, and then after that there's always the families of the victims of police murder are here, and there's the same people showing up year after year after year, the victims' families, but also new people all the time because the police are killing people still. So this is Temple Street and Spring Street in downtown Los Angeles, this is where Occupy LA was when there was 500 tents. So there's a rich history of resistance in this particular geography.
I wouldn't put it past her and her husband were orchestrating some shit. Right? What was happening last week? We was all thinking about her husband being prosecuted. Right? Let's not let us be distracted from the fact that we got a criminal and her criminal husband still in office. Right? Because we know this threat, this attack wasn't the first, and we know it won't be the last. And it hasn't stopped us before, and it for damn sure won't stop us now. It hasn't stopped us when there was 15 bodies in the street, and nobody cared who was threatening us, who was pulling up to Dr. Gula's house. It for damn sure ain't gonna stop us now. Jackie Lacy will go!
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 You goddamn motherfucking right! So we had to remind folks real quick, as we do every Wednesday, why we're here, right? We don't just come out here to hear ourselves talk. We come out here because we've been doing this for almost 3 years, following the demands of the families to hold this woman accountable, right? This is an elected official. This is our representative. She ain't representing us. She ain't protecting us. She ain't holding these killer cops accountable. So she's complicit. She's complicit. She's complicit in the terrorization of our communities by the county sheriffs, by the LAPD. And that looks like murder. And that looks like police brutality. And it also looks like harassment and cops showing up at your house early as hell in the morning with guns drawn when they know you got babies. So we know this shit is connected. And we also know we ain't gonna let this shit distract us. We ain't gonna let this shit intimidate us. We ain't gonna let this shit stop us. We gonna fortify, we gonna surround our sisters and our kids and our vulnerable folks, as we always remind ourselves to do here at Jackie Lacy, right? To look out for those who are vulnerable, to look out for those who are targeted. We gonna do that too. We gonna look out, but that's not gonna stop us from pushing forward. So that's why we're back out here again today to say Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy will go.
Jackie Lacy will go.
Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy will go.
Jackie Lacy will go.
We still ready for your resignation letter at any time. So, as we also do every Wednesday, let us make space for the families. I already see the father of Jesse Romero over here. I don't know if you want to come up first. You want to come up? Nah, later. All right, that's cool. I feel it. Who's over here? Any of the families with us today? And that's cool too, because sometimes they need a break, and they deserve a break. And that's why it's even more important for us to be out here holding space, for us to be out here letting Jackie Lacy know that it's not just the families. It's not all on the families, and it shouldn't be, right? We make this space for them every week because Jackie Lacy has failed to listen, has failed to hear their stories. And in most cases, in fact, in all of these cases, has found reasons why she will refuse to hold those cops accountable. And sometimes it's too goddamn painful to come out and relive your story or your child's or your cousin's or your brother's or your father's story again this week. Because they got shit going on just like we do, right? I know it's a lot of folks in the crowd. A lot of y'all got shit going on in your personal life. Y'all got battles and struggles and obstacles. And so do these families. And at the same time are holding this weight. And it's not just a regular weight, because we've all lost folks too, right? We all have folks who have passed on, but we miss like a motherfucker. It's a hole in your heart. But there's a different type of hole where the folks who stole your family member were supposed to be the ones protecting them. And when there is no way that you can get justice, where the killers are free to terrorize you, to roll around your block and harass your family every day and get paid to do it. That's a different type of hole. That's a different type of pain. That's a different type of loss. And so it's important that even if some family members weren't able to be with us, or even when they come and they don't want to speak, It's important that we're here anyway. It's important that we're lifting our voices anyway. Some of the shit that has happened in the last few months, a year ago, folks would have looked at as impossible, as you're stupid for even thinking about it. But we came out here every motherfucking Wednesday anyway and said, nah, we're gonna speak it into existence. We're gonna build this shit and they gonna come. And many of the times, family members were the majority. And it didn't feel like they had a lot of support. Of course, they had the regulars, but we didn't have all this. But we spoke it into existence. We built it. We made sure this shit wouldn't die down. Even when COVID and lockdowns and other things, they thought that's the end of this. Jackie Lacy thought it was smooth sailing to the election, right? Oh, let me look like the good guy and try to, let me do something about these marijuana expungements that I sat on for the past 2 years, right? Let me finally, a couple months before the election, start to hold a few cops accountable for misconduct, right? Even though I've been wiping over this shit for years, right? She thought she was gonna get smooth sailing. Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! We see you, Jackie. We seen you before COVID. We seen you before your husband pulled a gun on us. We seen you the last 8 years failing to do your job, failing to protect the people, failing to hold the pigs accountable when they murder our folks. Fuck that. Ain't no global pandemic gonna make us forget, gonna make us go away, because it ain't stopped them from killing us, has it? Unfortunately, in the last few months, as we've seen a bunch of y'all new faces come, we've also seen a bunch of new families. Daniel Hernandez's family wasn't out here 6 months ago. Andres Bargado's family wasn't out here. And it's on her that they have to be out here now. She has created the environment to where the cops feel like it's okay to kill us because they gonna get away with it. They've seen it happen. Their homeboys and co-workers and gang members, right? Fellow gang members have gotten away with it. The executioners, right? And some of these other folks, the Vikings, the 300 boys, all these other fucking sheriff gangs, the Banditos. Richie probably got 8 more names somewhere. The Jump Out Boys. It's a lot of them. It's a lot. They act like this shit is new. This shit is baked into the history of law enforcement in LA. And she has the power to change that shit. So it's important that we're out here every fucking Wednesday, no matter how many, how little, or how many families are able to be with us, because it's not always about holding space for them. It's also about reminding Jackie Lacy and the folks in this office that we ain't gonna fucking stop until she's gone. All right? So, we've been joined by our lovely sister, the cousin of Brendan Glenn, Grace, who is going to share some words with us. Give it up for Grace, y'all!
Thank you, guys. I recognize almost everyone here today, which is nice because it means we're becoming a family and I know all your faces. I got to walk up today and I had people say, "Oh, hi, Grace, good to see you again." And that was, it's nice to feel like a family of people cares about you and your story and your pain. So thank you guys for that. I just kind of want to talk about why everyone's here. So I would love to actually hear from some people about why you're here, what brought you out here today. Does anybody want to say something about why they're here today? Support the families. Any other things?
Defund the police.
Defund the police. Fuck Jackie Lacy. These are all good things. But yeah, to me today is the biggest about Jackie Lacy and about learning about who these people were. And I think that a lot of you have heard me talk about who Brendan was, right? He had a son who's getting older. He's a son who stays with his mom and his sister. His sister was supposed to get married next week. He obviously isn't able to be here for that. His son is moving on to a new year of school during COVID. He's not able to be here for that. His grandmother is living in a house trying to figure out her next steps with her mental health. He's not able to be here for that. I'm here in LA, a city that matters a lot to him. He's not able to be here for that. So who here is over 29 years old? Wow, a lot of people. Okay. So I just listed some things that Brendan didn't get to do because his life was taken at 29. So everybody who's 29, just think about the things that you've accomplished since being 29, whether you've gotten married, had kids, bought a home, graduated from school. Those are all opportunities that you've had that Brendan didn't get to have, that all of these families, people that they've lost, have not gotten to have. And then think about the victims who are even younger. Brendan was 29. There are victims who are 14, who are even younger than 14. There are people who were killed by association, by just being in the car with someone who they're chasing, and then a kid is killed. There's a countless number of cases. And something else that's really important is that not one case should seem more painful to you as people who haven't experienced it. Every single case should be equally painful. Like, even if I came up here and I didn't give an amazing speech and I didn't know what I was doing, you should see that I'm a person who lost someone in an unjust way. It doesn't matter how it happened. It doesn't matter the specifics. I don't need to break down to you whether or not his hand was where or whatever it was. Someone who was supposed to be protecting someone murdered someone. If you found out a teacher murdered a student, your reaction would be they weren't doing their job. When you find out a cop has killed a person, they were not doing their job. It's as simple as that. And no matter the age, no matter the economic status, no matter the race of the person, it should be a tragedy that someone failed at their occupation so deeply, so horribly, that they successfully took another person's life and had to deal with no consequence. So let's just take a moment together again and let's just think about why we're all here. So just meditate on why you're here, what brought you here. Now take a minute to think about why you think it's important that you keep coming back. Why do you have to keep coming back? Why is that so important to you?
Keep fighting.
To keep fighting. It's important for me because this person who I lost is lost every day. It's not like enough time passes and then all of a sudden they're not gone anymore and I'm fine, everything's fine, and his son forgets, and his mom forgets, and his sister forgets, and everything's just dandy. It's a problem every single day for these families. And that's why you all should be here every single day for these families. And I've seen a lot of how it's like not as big on social media anymore, right? I'm getting a lot of bikini pics now on social media, which I love, but not really the time. And just to remember why you are here right now and why you need to keep coming back, and remind yourself that every single day. If you think today maybe it doesn't matter, it does. If you think next week it might not matter, it does. Next month it might not matter, it does. It always does. So, say his name.
Brendan Glenn.
Say his name.
Brendan Glenn.
Thank you all so much for being here today. Say his name, sorry.
Brendan Glenn.
Jackie Lacy must go! Jackie Lacy will go! Jackie Lacy must go! Jackie Lacy will go! Prosecute killer cops! LAPD must be stopped! Prosecute killer cops! County sheriffs must be stopped! Prosecute killer cops! Inglewood PD must be stopped! Prosecute killer cops! Torrance PD must be stopped! Jackie Lacy must go!
Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy will go!
Jackie Lacy will go.
Jackie Lacy must go!
Jackie Lacy must go.
Jackie Lacy will go!
Jackie Lacy will go.
One of these warrior families that has joined us recently and always comes out together and with so much spirit and strength. It's the family of Daniel Hernandez. Give it up for them, y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. And it's a very hot day, and we thank you. Thank you for always supporting the families. I just want to talk about my brother, Danny Hernandez, Daniel. On April 22nd, my brother was in a multi-vehicle accident. He was injured. There were 2 other injured drivers also. My brother did not receive any ambulance or paramedic care. Instead, he was executed by Tony McBride, who's a sharpshooter, who does target practice, who's an Instagram influencer. My brother should have received medical care. And we're outraged that he did not receive medical care because the accident happened in South Central LA. And we know if this would have happened in a affluent area, this would never have been the response he would have received. There was no attempt to de-escalate. There was no attempt to use less lethal weapon. My brother was just executed. He was shot twice. He posed no harm after being shot twice and injured. And then he was shot 5 more times, and one of those was to the head. When we found out, we were in shock. We were in pain. And we were outraged. There were so many feelings going through. You have to remember this was on April 22nd when everyone was sheltering at home and people were not coming out. Our family was sheltering at home. My brother was sheltering at home. Every day there's accidents throughout the city. When we get into a vehicle accident, we don't expect that the 911 response will be to come and shoot you. What we expect is medical help in a time of need. Where does a family go when someone from LAPD kills your loved one? As a family, we were treated like criminals. As a family, we received no help. My brother was treated as a criminal also. This is the type of response that you get in South Central, where brown and black lives are criminalized. There is no respect for LAPD. There is no public trust. We do not trust LAPD to investigate themselves. And we know it's a long fight. LAPD has tried to intimidate us, and we will not be intimidated. We will not be silent. We will not take it. We will fight back every Friday, every single Friday. We're out there protesting in front of Noon Division, and we move the time to 8:30 on Fridays because now we are marching through the neighborhood. We are marching through the South Central neighborhood to let the community know that we are standing up against LAPD. That we know there's many other families that have experienced the same brutality as our family. And we want them to come out and unite and stand in solidarity with us and the family of Alex Flores, who has been protesting Noon Division since November of 2019. I invite you to come and join us on 28th and Central as we march through the neighborhood to let the community know we will not tolerate it. We know there's many more, and on April 22nd, we're going to meet at 2 p.m. also in front of Noon Division to protest them. We want to have a community forum so that the people of South LA come out and give testimony to their experiences. Again, we have a system that does not protect and serve. We want to help and change that. We want to help and push to abolish the system. I can tell you that our family, when we started this, we didn't know what to do. We didn't know where to go. But we knew that we were going to stand on that corner where my brother was executed and shout as loud as we could and let people know what happened to him. Yeah. And that was on May 22nd before George Floyd. And when we saw what happened to George Floyd, our family made a decision to let the whole world know also. And again, I thank you for coming out to support us because we know we're not alone. Mi nombre es María Hernández, mamá de Daniel Hernández. Y lo digo con mucho orgullo. Mi hijo no debía por qué haber muerto así. No tenía por qué negarle sus derechos. Todos merecemos un respeto, un derecho. ¿Por qué vino esta oficial a destruir nuestras vidas? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Muy a gusto ella llega a su casa, una sonrisa. Yo llego a la mía y no la encuentro. No encuentro esa sonrisa, esa paz. Maldita, 1000 veces maldita.
Yeah.
Justicia para mi hijo Daniel. Que nos escuchen toda la gente corrupta que trabaja adentro, que los cubren. Salen a otro día muy a gusto. Aquí no pasó nada. ¿Cómo no pasó? Porque siguen asesinando. ¿Con qué derecho les dan ese poder? Todos somos seres humanos, de todos colores. Todos merecemos un respeto. Merecemos la vida que Dios nos dio. ¿Por qué vienen ellos a quitárnoslas? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no nos dan ese derecho de caminar tranquilo? Necesitaba ayuda. ¿Cuál es la justicia? ¿Dónde está? ¿Con qué ojos miran a su familia? Si tienen hijos, ¿cómo llegan? Papi, ¿qué hiciste hoy? Mami, ¿qué hiciste hoy? Maté. Así con ese orgullo, maté. No merecen ellos tener ese corazón de piedra. No merecen. No merecen ni tener una familia. ¿Por qué no la quitan a nosotros? ¿Por qué? Queremos justicia. No tengamos miedo. Antes me daba hasta miedo mirarlos pasar por mi casa. Porque ellos entran como que si fuera su propia casa de ellos. ¿Con qué derecho lo hacen? Porque tienen ese poder de allá de adentro también. Son unos asesinos, tanto los de adentro como los de afuera. Son asesinos. 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 Sí. Malditos. Son malditos. Ahora no me da miedo gritarlo. Malditos. Ya. Que oigan. Que oigan. Porque así ellos piden el respeto. Porque el respeto no se vende. Se gana. Se gana. Con mucho pudor, pero se gana. Y ellos no merecen que los respeten, así como ellos nos han pisoteado. Y nos siguen pisoteando si no salimos a unirnos. Yo estoy agradecida que nos siguen
Go in the shade and see if I can talk to this guy over here who's been staying at the Black Unity camp, which is right up the block. They've been here for months and they're still here for reasons I don't really understand. But I don't know if he'll talk to me, but let me just go ask him. Anyways.
Congratulations.
Hey, Mari. How you doing? I'm live streaming. Okay, cool. If I don't see you, I'll look for you over there. Good to see you. Okay, that guy's gonna talk to me after this is over. His name is Amari Shikber, and he's got some stuff to say. How you feel? Yeah, you look good. You look better. How's your head?
It's cool.
You look better.
Man, I was on the train on the way over here. And I got into a little altercation because this guy was trying to steal from me, and I kind of set them up because I act like I was trying to go in my bag. And I was just got up.
Public transportation, welcome to LA.
Man,
You gotta watch this shit, right? I'm gonna go sit down for a minute. I'll put you in the rebound. So I'm gonna sign off in a few, and then come back after this part of this action is over, and I'm gonna talk to Amari Shakur and see if I can live stream over here in the Black Unity Camp, which is the temporary autonomous zone. It's the Black Lives Matter came out of the, I think there was tents up the first week. So people are still there. And that's actually at the end of this block. I'm sorry, in the middle of this next block. On the right in Grand Park. These people with the orange hats are, these people with orange hats are from the National Lawyers Guild. So I'm going to peace out. I'll be back in a while later, okay? Oh, yeah.